"Step away from her, Chloe." The sharp voice sliced through the crowd gathered near Central Park. A man in a tailored suit, Richard Bradford, the millionaire CEO himself, glared at his daughter as she knelt beside a homeless woman sitting on the sidewalk. Rain was falling, glimmering on Chloe's silk dress, turning her into a vision of contradiction, wealth kneeling before misery. Cameras from nearby reporters turned, snapping pictures. Richard's face hardened. "Do you have any idea what people will say when they see this? Bradford's daughter feeding a beggar?" Chloe looked up, her voice trembling but defiant. "If you cared half as much about people as you do about your reputation, you'd be the man you pretend to be." Gasps rippled through the bystanders. Richard's jaw clenched, but Chloe didn't back down. She placed her lunch, a fresh sandwich wrapped in gold paper, into the woman's hands. The woman looked up, her grey eyes filling with tears. You're kind," she whispered. Chloe smiled faintly. Everyone deserves kindness. But as their eyes met, something in the woman's expression shifted. Shock, fear, and an emotion too deep to name. And before Chloe could understand why, the woman murmured a single word that froze her heart. "Chloe." No one knew then that this simple act of compassion would tear open decades of lies and reveal a secret powerful enough to destroy an empire. Before we begin this emotional story, tell us in the comments from which city you are watching, and don't forget to leave your like to keep following us. The sun was setting over Manhattan, washing the city in gold. People rushed past, clutching their coffee cups and phones, blind to the woman sitting alone on a bench by the corner of 59th Street. Her coat was too thin for November, her hands trembling as she held a paper cup with a few coins clinking inside. The light caught the faint bruises on her cheek, but no one looked twice. No one ever did. That's when a black Mercedes slowed down nearby, the kind that made heads turn. From the back seat stepped out a young woman in a navy blue suit, her hair tied in a perfect bun, diamonds glimmering at her neck. Her name was Chloe Bradford, daughter of the millionaire CEO of Bradford Holdings, a name people whispered with admiration and envy. She was on her way to a charity gala her father was hosting. Everything about her screamed control. The way she walked, the way she didn't smile, the way her driver trailed behind carrying her purse and phone. But as she passed the park bench, something made her stop. The homeless woman had just unwrapped a small sandwich from a paper bag, clearly old, maybe from a trash can. Her fingers were shaking. Chloe hesitated. For some reason, the sight hit her harder than she expected. She turned to her driver. "Wait a second," she said quietly. She opened her designer purse, took out her own lunch from earlier, a fresh sandwich wrapped in wax paper, and walked toward the woman. The woman looked up, startled. Her eyes, pale grey, tired but oddly familiar, met Chloe's. "Here," Chloe said, her voice low but firm. "You can have this." The woman blinked, her lips parting as if to say something. You don't have to, miss." "I know," Chloe replied, "but I want to." Their hands touched briefly as the paper bag changed owners. The air between them felt strangely heavy. The woman whispered, "Thank you," and Chloe nodded, suddenly feeling something she hadn't felt in a long time, something warm yet painful. "Come on, Miss Bradford," the driver called impatiently. "We're running late." Chloe turned away, walking back toward the car. But as she opened the door, she glanced one last time over her shoulder. The woman was watching her, eyes glistening, as if recognizing something that Chloe herself couldn't see. For a second, the noise of the city faded, and only that silent gaze remained, fragile, pleading, almost maternal. Then Chloe got into the car, the door shut, and the Mercedes rolled into the stream of traffic, leaving behind a woman who still whispered her name under her breath. Chloe. The gala at the Waldorf Astoria glittered like a palace of glass and gold. Laughter floated through the marble hall, the clink of champagne flutes echoing beneath the chandeliers. Chloe stood beside her father, Richard Bradford, who was surrounded by reporters and business partners, his signature smile carved perfectly for the cameras. "Smile, sweetheart," he whispered through his teeth as flashes exploded in front of them. Chloe obeyed. She had learned long ago that her father's world ran on appearances, on masks, but her mind wasn't there. Even as the orchestra played and waiters glided with trays of caviar, she kept seeing those grey eyes, that trembling hand holding the sandwich. The woman's voice lingered in her memory, soft and broken. "You don't have to, miss." Across the room, a woman in a red gown approached Richard. "Richard, your daughter is stunning. The press is calling her the future of Bradford Holdings." "Of course she is," Richard said proudly, placing his hand on Chloe's shoulder. "She's been raised for greatness." Chloe smiled politely, but inside her chest tightened. Raised for greatness. It always sounded more like trained for obedience. Later that night, as speeches filled the air and applause thundered through the ballroom, Chloe slipped away. She needed air. On the balcony overlooking Park Avenue, she leaned against the railing, staring at the lights below. Her assistant, Mark, followed her out, quietly. "You disappeared in the middle of your father's speech. Are you okay?" She nodded without looking at him. "Just tired of pretending." Mark hesitated, unsure how to respond. He had worked for her for 3 years, but had never seen this side of her. "You mean pretending to be perfect?" Chloe gave a small laugh, brittle and short. "Something like that." Then she turned toward him, her eyes distant. "Mark, do you ever wonder if the life we're living isn't really ours? Like, maybe it's borrowed or bought or built on something we were never told?" Before Mark could answer, her phone buzzed. A message from her father. "Come back inside. Reporters are asking for you." She sighed and turned toward the golden light spilling through the glass doors. "Duty calls," she said softly. As she re-entered the ballroom, she caught her reflection in one of the mirrors. Elegant, poised, untouchable. Yet behind her eyes there was something hollow, a flicker of doubt she couldn't name. That night, when she finally returned home, her mind wouldn't quiet. She tossed in bed, the city lights painting restless shadows on her ceiling, and somewhere, just a few blocks away, the homeless woman sat beneath an overpass, clutching the same paper bag Chloe had given her. She took a slow bite, tears streaking her face as she whispered into the night, "She's alive. My baby's alive." The distant hum of cars drowned her words, but she kept whispering them anyway, as if saying them enough could make the years of silence vanish. The next morning, Chloe woke to the sound of rain tapping against her apartment window. Manhattan was gray and dripping, the streets below glazed with reflections of umbrellas and headlights. She sat up in bed, hair unkempt, eyes still heavy from a night of broken sleep. The echo of the woman's voice haunted her dreams, that faint whisper, fragile but full of something she couldn't name. Her phone buzzed again. Her father's assistant. "Good morning, Miss Bradford. Mr. Bradford requests your presence at the office. There's a meeting with the board at 10. "Tell him I'll be there," she muttered, staring out at the rain. By 9:30, she was seated in the back of the same black Mercedes, watching the city slide by. As they passed the park, she found herself turning her head toward the same bench, empty now, damp with rain. The woman was gone. For a reason she couldn't explain, Chloe felt a pang of disappointment. Inside Bradford Holdings, the air was sharp with the scent of coffee and ambition. Assistants hurried by, high heels echoing on marble floors. Chloe entered the boardroom where her father sat at the head of the table, surrounded by men twice her age. "Ah, my daughter finally joins us," Richard said, smiling tightly. "We're discussing the new acquisition. I want your opinion." Chloe took her seat beside him, flipping through the documents, but her focus kept drifting. She heard numbers, contracts, mergers, but her mind wandered back to the park. "Chloe," her father snapped, "are you with us?" "Yes," she said quickly. "Just thinking." "Thinking doesn't make money," he replied coldly. Laughter rippled around the table. She smiled faintly, hiding the sting. She was used to that tone, the one that reminded her she might be the heir, but she was still under his control. After the meeting, Mark found her in the hallway, her eyes distant. "Rough morning?" She shrugged. "Just the usual. Power, pride, profit." Then she paused. "Mark, can you do something for me? Find out if there's a homeless shelter near Central Park. I want to donate some supplies." Mark looked surprised. "Of course. Any reason?" Chloe hesitated. "I met someone yesterday. I can't stop thinking about her." That afternoon, while her father attended another meeting, Chloe quietly left the office. The rain had stopped, and the city smelled like wet asphalt and exhaust. She walked back to the park, the same path, the same bench. The woman wasn't there, only a folded piece of cardboard with shaky handwriting. "God bless the kind soul who fed me." Chloe picked it up, her throat tightening. She stood there in silence as people hurried past, and for the first time in years she felt small. Not the powerful daughter of a millionaire CEO, but just a girl searching for something she didn't understand. Behind her, unnoticed, a frail figure watched from across the street. The same woman clutching her coat tighter, afraid to be seen. That evening, as the city lights began to flicker on one by one, Chloe couldn't shake the unease curling inside her chest. She stood by her apartment window, sipping tea that had already gone cold, her reflection framed against the skyline. The cardboard sign she'd picked up from the park rested on her coffee table, small, fragile, and heartbreakingly human. She tried to read, to distract herself, but the words blurred. Her phone buzzed again. It was her father. "Chloe, where were you this afternoon? I called the office 3 times. "I went to the park," she admitted quietly. "For what?" His voice sharpened. "You have meetings, responsibilities. You can't just wander off." "I wasn't wandering," she said, her tone calm but strained. "I was helping someone." A pause. Then his voice dropped, low and cutting. "You are not a charity worker, Chloe. You are a Bradford. Don't ever forget that." He hung up. The silence that followed felt heavier than the rain outside. Chloe pressed her palms to her face, fighting the urge to scream. Later, she went for a walk. She didn't tell her driver. She just needed air, needed to feel the city's pulse without walls or expectations. She turned down a quieter street near Fifth Avenue, where the glow of street lamps spilled across puddles like broken glass. That's when she saw her again. The homeless woman was sitting near the entrance of a small convenience store, wrapped in a blanket that barely covered her shoulders. Her face was pale, lips trembling. She looked worse than before. Chloe approached slowly, her heels clicking against the wet pavement. "It's you," she said softly. The woman looked up, startled, then smiled faintly. "Didn't think I'd see you again." Chloe crouched down. "Are you okay? You look sick." The woman shook her head. "Just a little cold, nothing I'm not used to." "Do you have somewhere to stay tonight?" "No," she said simply. "Shelters are full. They always are." Without thinking, Chloe removed her coat, a tailored wool piece worth more than most people's monthly rent, and placed it gently around the woman's shoulders. "I can't take this," the woman whispered. "Yes, you can," Chloe replied. "Please." Their eyes met again, and something flickered there. Recognition, pain, maybe love buried under years of silence. The woman reached out, brushing her fingers lightly across Chloe's hand. "You remind me of someone I once knew," she said. "Who?" The woman smiled sadly. "My daughter." Before Chloe could respond, a siren wailed in the distance. The woman turned away, suddenly trembling. "I have to go," she murmured, standing up and vanishing down the alley before Chloe could say another word. Chloe stood frozen under the drizzle, her coat gone, her heart pounding. Her father's words echoed in her mind. "You are a Bradford." But tonight, she didn't feel like one. Sleep didn't come that night. Chloe lay awake, staring at the ceiling as the city murmured beyond the windows. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw the woman disappearing into that alley, her voice trembling with the word, "daughter." The next morning, she made a decision. She dressed simply, jeans, a grey sweater, no jewelry, and left the apartment before dawn. No driver, no assistant, no father watching her every move. Just Chloe and the city she barely knew outside tinted glass. The streets around Central Park were still half asleep. Coffee carts hissed, taxis honked in the distance, and somewhere beneath the rumble of traffic, she heard the faint strum of a guitar. Homeless people huddled near steam vents for warmth. Chloe approached one man holding a cardboard sign. "Excuse me," she said softly. "Have you seen a woman around here? Grey hair, thin, maybe in her 50s. The man blinked. "You talking about Lila?" "Lila," Chloe repeated. The name felt strange on her tongue. "Yes, where is she?" He pointed toward a row of abandoned buildings. "She don't stay long in one place, but I seen her head that way yesterday. You sure you want to go there? Ain't safe." "I'll be fine," Chloe said, though her heart was racing. She walked past graffiti-covered walls and trash bins until she found a narrow alley where the air smelled of damp cardboard and gasoline. A shape stirred in the corner, the same woman, huddled beneath a torn blanket. "Lila?" Chloe called gently. The woman stirred, her face pale but her eyes alert. When she saw Chloe, her lips parted in disbelief. "You came back." Chloe knelt beside her. "You shouldn't be here. Let me help you. I can take you to a hospital." Lila shook her head weakly. "No hospitals, no names, I can't risk it." "Risk what?" Chloe asked, confused. But Lila looked away, her breath trembling. "You wouldn't understand. Try me." Lila's eyes filled with tears. "Some things are better buried." Chloe reached out, gently placing her hand over Lila's. "Please, let me help." The woman looked at her hand, soft, warm, kind, and for a moment, something broke inside her. "You shouldn't be here," she whispered. "If he finds out—" Chloe frowned. "Who?" Before Lila could answer, a shout echoed from the end of the alley. A man in a dark coat was tossing garbage bags aside, yelling angrily at the homeless scattered there. "Get out of here! No loitering!" Lila flinched. Chloe stood protectively in front of her. "Stop yelling at her," she said firmly. The man sneered. "Lady, she's trash. Go back to your world." But Chloe didn't move. Her voice rose, clear and trembling. "She's not trash, she's a person." The man scoffed and walked away, muttering. Lila's hands were shaking as she whispered, "You shouldn't have done that. He'll tell them." "Tell who?" Chloe demanded. Lila looked up, eyes wet and frightened. "The Bradfords." The sound of that name, the Bradfords, hit Chloe like a slap. She blinked, unsure she'd heard correctly. The rain had started again, fine and cold, dripping from the edge of the buildings. "What did you say?" she whispered. Lila's breathing grew shallow. "Forget it. I shouldn't have said that." Chloe crouched closer. "No, you said the Bradfords. My family. Why would you—" Lila grabbed her wrist, trembling. "Please don't ask me that. It's not safe. They can't know I'm still here." Her words sliced through the air, each one heavier than the last. Chloe's pulse thudded in her ears. "Still here? What are you talking about? Who can't know?" Before Lila could answer, she coughed violently, doubling over. Chloe immediately reached for her phone. "I'm calling a doctor." "No hospitals," Lila gasped, clutching her sleeve. "They'll ask for my name. They'll find out." "Find out what?" Chloe demanded. Lila's gaze lifted, her gray eyes glassy with tears. "That I'm not supposed to be alive." Chloe froze, her phone still in her hand. "What do you mean?" Lila said nothing. The rain fell harder, pooling at their feet. Then she whispered, "Please, just let me rest. I can explain when it's safe." Against every instinct, Chloe nodded. She helped Lila up, guiding her toward a nearby diner that was still open. Inside, the fluorescent lights buzzed faintly, and the smell of burnt coffee filled the air. The waitress eyed them suspiciously, but Chloe ignored it and slid into a corner booth with Lila. "2 soups," Chloe said firmly, "and tea." As they waited, Lila kept glancing toward the window, as if expecting someone to appear. Chloe leaned forward, lowering her voice. "If my family did something to you, I need to know." Lila gave a weak laugh, more like a sigh. "Your family? They don't like messes. And I was one. A mistake." "A mistake?" Chloe repeated, heart pounding. Lila's hands shook as she lifted the spoon, then set it down again. "When you were born—" The door to the diner swung open. A tall man in a black suit stepped in, rain glistening on his shoulders. His eyes scanned the room like a predator's. Lila's face drained of color. "It's him," she whispered. "We have to go." Chloe turned, her breath catching. "Who is he?" But Lila was already sliding out of the booth. Chloe followed as the man spotted them and started walking faster. Panic surged. They bolted through the back exit, out into the rain-soaked alley. Lila stumbled, coughing, clutching Chloe's arm. "They can't find us together," she said hoarsely. "If they do, everything will come out." "What will come out?" Chloe pleaded. Lila looked at her, desperate, loving, terrified. "The truth about who you really are." Lightning flashed across the sky, illuminating both faces, one young and determined, the other aged by secrets too heavy to carry. Rain poured harder, soaking through Chloe's sweater as she half-dragged, half-supported Lila down the alley. The city around them blurred into a chaos of headlights and thunder. Behind them, the man in the black suit shouted into his phone. She couldn't make out the words, but the tone was cold, commanding. They turned a corner and found a narrow staircase leading to a basement door. Chloe tried the handle. It opened. They slipped inside. The space smelled of dust and oil, an old storage room beneath what looked like an auto shop. Lila collapsed onto a crate, breathing heavily. Chloe knelt beside her. "Who was that man?" Lila looked terrified. "Your father's driver. But he's more than that. He keeps secrets for him. Ugly ones." Chloe's voice trembled. "You're saying my father sent him?" Lila nodded weakly. "He must have heard I was seen near you. But why? Why would my father care about a homeless woman?" Lila's eyes glistened. "Because I wasn't always homeless." The words hung there like smoke. Chloe swallowed hard. "Then who are you, Lila?" Lila hesitated, tears mixing with rain on her cheeks. "I used to work for him. Years ago, in his house, as a cleaning lady." Chloe blinked. The phrase cleaning lady echoed painfully, like a story she'd heard 1,000 times from her father, who loved reminding her that some people were born to serve. Lila continued, voice trembling. "I was young, poor. Your father was powerful, married to your stepmother back then. He said he'd help me, said he cared." Her lips quivered. "But he used me, Chloe. And when I got pregnant, he made me disappear." The air left Chloe's lungs. "Pregnant?" Lila nodded. "They told me the baby died during birth. I tried to move on, but I couldn't. I searched for years. Then one day I saw a picture in a magazine, Bradford Holdings charity gala, and there you were." Chloe's heartbeat was deafening. "You're saying," Lila's hand reached out, trembling, "you are my daughter." The world tilted. Chloe stared at her, eyes wide, lips parting but no sound escaping. She wanted to deny it, to say it was impossible, insane, but something inside her shifted. Those grey eyes, that soft voice, the strange warmth she'd felt since the first moment. Thunder rolled above them. Lila's body shook. "I never wanted to leave you. He made me sign papers, said if I spoke, he'd ruin me." Tears blurred Chloe's vision. "He told me my mother died in a car accident when I was a baby." Lila sobbed. "He lied. Your stepmother couldn't have children. They took you and told me to disappear." Chloe covered her mouth, her whole body trembling. "Oh my God!" Outside, the sound of footsteps echoed in the alley again, closer this time. Lila's eyes widened in terror. "He found us." Chloe grabbed her hand. "Then we run." They pushed open the back door, disappearing into the storm, two silhouettes bound by blood and secrets, racing against the past that refused to stay buried. The rain was relentless, blurring the city into streaks of silver and black. Chloe and Lila ran until their legs burned, ducking through alleyways and empty lots. Every sound felt like a threat, a car door slamming, footsteps echoing too close. By the time they reached a dimly lit subway entrance, both were shaking. Chloe helped Lila down the stairs. The platform was nearly empty, except for a man sleeping on a bench and an old woman reading a newspaper. The next train screeched into the station, its lights cutting through the shadows. They boarded and sat in the far corner, water dripping from their hair. Lila pressed a hand to her chest, gasping softly. "I can't keep running like this." Chloe gripped her hand. "We'll find a way. We'll go to the police." Lila shook her head. "You don't understand. Your father owns half of them. He'll twist everything, make me look crazy." Chloe's throat tightened. "Then I'll go public. The press—" "No!" Lila said sharply, her voice breaking. "If you do that, he'll destroy you too. He doesn't lose, Chloe. Not ever." The train rocked, its fluorescent lights flickering. Chloe looked at her reflection in the window. Her father's sharp jawline, her mother's grey eyes. The truth was there, staring back, undeniable. When they reached the next stop, Lila leaned weakly against her shoulder. "There's a place," she whispered, "an old friend near the river. She'll hide us." They got off and climbed the slippery stairs back into the storm. The streets here were different, quieter, older, lined with decaying warehouses. The Hudson shimmered faintly in the distance. Lila led her toward a rundown building with a flickering sign, Ruth's Laundry and Repairs. She knocked 3 times. After a pause, the door opened, revealing an older woman with kind eyes and silver hair wrapped in a scarf. "Lila," the woman gasped. "Is that really you?" Lila smiled weakly. "Hi, Ruth. I need your help." Ruth ushered them inside, bolting the door. "You look half dead. Sit, both of you." She brought blankets, hot tea, and something resembling soup. Chloe sat silently, her mind spinning. Ruth studied her curiously. "She looks like you," she murmured. Lila nodded slowly. "She's my daughter." Ruth's eyes widened, flicking toward Chloe. "So the rumors were true." "What rumors?" Chloe asked, voice trembling. Ruth hesitated. "That Richard Bradford paid to keep a secret buried. Some said a woman disappeared after giving birth, but nobody believed it. He was too powerful." Chloe's hands clenched. "He destroyed 2 lives just to protect his image." Ruth sighed. "And he'll do worse if he finds out you know." At that moment, headlights flashed through the cracks in the boarded-up windows. A black SUV stopped outside. Lila's face went pale. "He found us again," Ruth whispered. "There's a back exit. Go." Chloe grabbed her mother's arm and pulled her toward the back door, heart racing. As they slipped into the night, tires screeched outside and voices shouted. They disappeared into the rain once more, 2 women bound by truth, hunted by power. The storm had swallowed the night whole. Thunder cracked over the Hudson as Chloe and Lila ran along the narrow waterfront road, their shoes splashing through puddles that reflected the city's fractured lights. Behind them, the sound of engines drew closer, the black SUV slicing through the darkness like a predator on the hunt. "Keep moving," Chloe cried, gripping Lila's arm, but her mother stumbled, coughing, her breath shallow and desperate. "I can't," Lila gasped. "Go without me." "I'm not leaving you." Chloe's voice broke. "You hear me? I'm not." They ducked beneath an overpass, panting, drenched, the roar of the river echoing in their ears. A moment later, car doors slammed. Footsteps. Men's voices, low and certain. "Spread out. She's with the girl." Chloe froze. The voice was unmistakable, her father's driver. She peeked out just enough to see him, flanked by 2 men in suits. He held a phone to his ear. "Yes, sir," he said. "We found them. The girl's with her." Lila's eyes widened. "He's talking to Richard," she whispered. Chloe's stomach twisted. Rage, disbelief, and heartbreak collided inside her. Her father, the man who raised her with iron discipline and polished lies, was hunting her. The men moved closer. Chloe looked around desperately and spotted a rusty door half hidden behind a dumpster. "This way," she whispered. They slipped inside, finding themselves in an abandoned warehouse, the floor littered with old machinery and broken crates. Lila leaned against the wall, coughing hard. Chloe wrapped her arms around her. "Hold on, we'll get through this." "Chloe," Lila rasped, "you have to listen to me. If he catches us, promise me you'll run." "No, we're facing him. Together." Before Lila could answer, the door burst open. Flashlights cut through the dark. The driver stepped inside, gun in hand, his voice calm but deadly. "End of the road, Miss Bradford. Mr. Bradford wants to see you, both of you." Chloe stood tall, her heart hammering. "Tell him if he wants to see me, he can come himself." A low chuckle. "He's already here." From the shadows of the doorway, Richard Bradford stepped in. The rain glistened on his tailored suit, his expression cold and composed. "Chloe," he said, his voice smooth as ice, "you've caused quite a scene." Chloe's breath caught. "You lied to me. You stole my mother's life." He sighed, almost bored. "She was a mistake. I fixed it. I gave you everything. A name, a future. You should be thanking me." Lila stepped forward, trembling. "You destroyed me, Richard. You took my child." "Enough," he snapped. "You were paid to disappear." "I didn't want money," Lila said, voice breaking. "I wanted her." For a moment, silence. Rain drummed against the broken windows. Then Chloe stepped between them, her voice trembling but steady. "You don't own me anymore." Richard's eyes darkened. "You have no idea what you're throwing away." "Oh, I do," Chloe said softly. "Your chains." Outside, lightning flared. And in that flash of light, the daughter and the mother stood side by side, facing the man who'd built an empire on lies. Days later, the story of Richard Bradford's downfall filled every news channel. His confession had gone viral, forcing him to step down as CEO. The empire he'd built on lies crumbled beneath the weight of truth. But Chloe didn't care about the headlines. She and Lila had left New York behind, moving into a small coastal town in Maine, a quiet place where the wind smelled of salt and freedom. Every morning, Chloe helped her mother paint the old cottage they'd bought with what little she had saved. They laughed, cooked together, and sometimes just sat on the porch watching the sea breathe in and out like a promise. One afternoon, as the sky turned golden, Lila said softly, "You know, for years I prayed that someday someone would see me. Not as the cleaning lady, not as the homeless woman, but as a mother who still had love to give." Chloe reached for her hand. "You're more than that. You're my home." The words hung in the air like sunlight through glass, fragile, pure, and finally free of the shadows that once haunted them. Some wounds never vanish completely, but they teach the soul how to breathe again. And in that small cottage by the sea, two hearts once broken learned that forgiveness doesn't erase the past, it redeems it. Because sometimes family isn't defined by blood or name, but by the courage to choose love over fear and truth over silence. Thank you for staying with us until the end of this heart-touching story. Tell us in the comments which part moved you the most. Subscribe and turn on the bell to receive more stories that inspire and transform. Leave a like if you believe in the invisible strength of dignity and family. And above all, thank you for being part of this community that believes in stories with soul. And before you go, watch the story I leave here on the left. I'm sure it will also move you and make you reflect.